Good evening. Well, it's 7 o'clock this evening. Tonight we're at St Andrew's in Irby Upon Humber, which is literally a stone throws away from the edge of Grimsby and Laceby, and an earlier church where we visited before previously on Barefoot Chronicles was Ryby, and the church there. So let's go check it out. So literally it's in close parameters to St Edmunds in Ryby, and then you've got St Margaret's in Laceby as well. So this site here is obviously over 1,000 years old and predates that. It was around in the Domesday Charter, previously mentioned on earlier videos. See, there's a few trees here, but there's the graveyard here. There's a lot that's fairly modern, and then you've got your traditional Victorian graveyard over yonder. So we'll swing round. But it's a fine, pleasant evening. It's July day, July the 14th today. Yeah, it's a beautiful evening. It's in Irby Upon Humber. Is in the deep in the Lincolnshire Wolds, and earlier families here and parishioners in the settlements nearby was aggregating the chalk mines and quarrying them there. It's a little bit of a distance from here, walking distance, 20 minutes, and there's a big cliff where we went to earlier. I'll put the photos at the end of this video so you can see where we've been. But they was quarrying this for a number of years, even though the stone didn't come from this is sandstone as well. But your classic Norman tower, and then when the Normans proceeded across the country, you can see that they've extended it. It's been renovated over a few years. There's not many that you'd come to. The gargoyles was missing. The complete top of the tower has completely been renovated. There's no classic architecture from the Saxon or the Norman era where they've put the sacred vines on going to heaven there. They're non-present on this, which is quite sad, but there must be a reason by it. You've had many incidences where Vikings have come in. The Great Heathen Army would have landed 20 minutes away from the coast by foot marching. And Great Heathen Army, the Vikings with Ragnar Lothbrok and his sons, Ivor the Boneless, they come smashing through various settlements here scattered along the east coast. And you don't know if it's been damaged in there or there's sites for civil wars between Oliver Cromwell's forces and King Charles I during the 17th century, the mid 17th century. You see there's a lot of erosion on the bell tower there. It's quite rare that you would see that, so there's nothing. We've not made a massive effort, and it looks quite from, I don't know, around the time of World War One is when and obviously funds would have been short at that time. In Victorian era, they'd have at least made a grand more effort. But people's faith have been dwindling over the years. People have been, obviously during the Industrial Revolution, have been moving to where the money is, and industrialisation and more jobs and more money. So these become like lost in memory, lost in time. This is why I love coming round. Some of these I've never known about, so I love coming round, walking barefoot round these ancient grounds, and some lay on ancient ley lines, so I'm all into my energies and that. I'm very spiritual and so forth, so I like to share my experiences of visitations of these grand old historic monuments. The erosion there, the sandstone brickwork, but fantastic, still in one piece, the main foundations and that. You don't see that very often now, a wooden cross with lights around it. Very, might look good illuminated at night, but it looks pretty cheap and tacky. I was quite ashamed, it's just a basic piece. So, oh well. The Victorian stones. The Georgian Edwardian. You see the grand, beautiful Gothic architecture there, the Renaissance going in then that period, almost 1,000 years ago. We've got close by the A46. You can probably hear the odd car travelling by at high speed. I do apologise for the speeding vehicles in the background. Oh yeah, close by there's the A46 there going to Grimsby, and then to Lincoln is in that direction, Market Raisin, Caister where we've been earlier in another video. Oh, it's a shame it's just another one that's shut. Well, I'm on these pilgrimages, is that pilgrimage? Pilgrimage. Yeah, pilgrimages. Pilgrims on a pilgrimage, barefoot pilgrimage to these old historical locations, and sadly most of them are closed during the COVID era. It's very sad. It's very sad to visit with my souls. Pleasant evening. So you've got most of these, the Victorians, gravestones. You've got your outline of your trees as well. It's quite spectacular here because you can appreciate the effort of clearing all this mound out. It would have been a long time ago before modern roads came and set tarmac. You would have had like horse and cart. So lots been dug out, been done previously to the tarmac there. So purposely built on a mound. From the top you'd get a good close parameter of sight for any invading forces, but just imagine if you was outnumbered by like the Romans 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, well they left 1,000 years ago, but 1,200 years ago, the Great Heathen Army, with all the thousands of Vikings just pulling up on longboats on the Humber estuary and just like decimating each settlement and slaughtering like the innocent like parishioners and that, just come to church praying to God. And like, it was something happening that God punished them and sent these like there was very advanced culture. The Vikings was like pagans, where we still use a lot of Viking. Oh, it's an ant's nest down there. Red ants as well. It's a busy nest on sacred hallowed ground. Looks like there's some kind of circular where the lawnmower's been. All these interesting patterns. But no, yes, like Great Viking armies wiping out settlement after settlement. Was the church doing bad things in them days? And then obviously God's punished them in his own way. I don't know. It's a debate, one for the history books. Something would have been going on, and then the church has been punished over years. Right, the forces of dark and evil, or who was they in their eyes, they was the good ones who just wanted plunder, really. Just living life, going travelling the world, raping and pillaging countries. Sounds familiar, you know, like modern times. The forces of America and Britain have just been ploughing through settlements and raping and pillaging for resources. Vicious little cycle we've got going on here. You know, this is St Andrew. So St Andrew was an apostle, one of the direct apostles of Christ, and he carried on his teaching he went to Rome after the crucifixion of Christ. He became obviously an ordained saint. He's celebrated all around Christianity and Catholicism. I'm not sure if he's mentioned briefly in the Quran and Prophet Isa, but in Greek Christianity and unorthodox Christianity, he's a well-revered saint. So, named after him, St Andrew, Irby Upon Humber. So I'm going to wrap it up there. God bless, take care of yourselves and each other, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe and follow the Barefoot journey. This is your latest instalment of Barefoot Chronicles, so we've got more coming, so tune in. Namaste.